Okay, this is a 2000 Mitsubishi Galant. Today I'm going to be showing you how to change out your belts, both the belts. First, start by picking this up, slides right up and out. Get that out of the way. I'm going to change out the main belt that runs the power steering pump and the air compressor down there. And I'm going to come back here and change out the belt for the alternator at the same time because it's easy to do while the other one's off. So we'll change out both these belts and I'll show you how to do it. Okay, to get your top belt off, come over here. This bolt right here is your adjustment bolt. It's going to be a 14 millimeter, and then on the other side of that bracket, just follow that bracket down in there, and that's where the other half of it is. Loosen that 14 millimeter bolt up and start adjusting your bolt outwards. Start backing this one off, and you'll adjust it out enough to give you enough slack on your belt. Once you get enough slack on your belt, you can kind of just pry it up and off and all the way around, get it all the way down and around, put your new belt back on. But first, put your new belt back on. We're going to change out the alternator belt. That's pretty easy. It's the same process. Okay, to take your alternator belt off, you want to loosen up your alternator. You can see where my wrench is down there. It's a 14 millimeter at the bottom of your alternator. Get that one loose, and then loosen up this 12 millimeter up here at the top, and then you can come over here and loosen this up, and you should be able to slide back and forth to give you enough slack to get the belt off now. Okay, now that I got both my belts off, I'll give you a quick tip. It was a lot easier to take them off from the bottom side, get them worked off from the top, obviously, work it off that back one back there, and then work it off this top one here, and then kind of finesse it down and around. And I found it a lot easier to just go from the bottom side of the car and pull them off from there. So when I go to install them, I'm going to be reinstalling them, you know, in from the bottom and then upwards, I think, is what my plan is. Yeah, so for the alternator belt, I just kind of stuck it there on the top one for right now, this top one right here. And then I'm going to go down and go around because you got to put it on the bottom crank part, and then I'll put it up around the alternator. Okay, now that you're ready to put your big belt on, I just kind of stuffed it down in there so when I get underneath there, it's ready for me to be using. You're going to start by putting it on the big crank right there, the motor crank, and you're going to come over here and try and stick it on the bottom pulley. That's your AC compressor, and then work it up and around the tensioner and this top power steering pump. Okay, now that you got all your belts back on there, tighten them back up. I'd recommend tightening up your alternator belt first, and that would be the same way you took it off. Adjust this screw all the way until the alternator has good pressure on that belt, and then tighten this top one here, and then tighten up the bottom one down there that my wrench is sticking off of. And then you come over here for this main serpentine belt, and you're going to do the same thing. You got your bolt right here, your tensioner bolt right here. Get it nice and tense, and then tighten it down. The other bolt was down in here, remember? So after you have that all tightened up, buttoned up, installation is done.